Xin chào quý vị. Tôi là Nguyễn Thị Nam Phương, Phó Tổng Giám đốc của công ty tư vấn quản lý OCD, một công ty đã có 20 năm trên thị trường về các cái kinh nghiệm tư vấn và đào tạo cho doanh nghiệp. Trong quá khứ thì tôi có nhiều năm là Phó Chủ tịch của Hiệp hội Nhân sự HRA và bây giờ thì vẫn tiếp tục là thành viên của Hiệp hội, là một trong những thành viên lớn tuổi nhất của Hiệp hội liên quan đến quản trị nhân sự nhất. Và tôi muốn nói đến một điều rằng là đừng nghĩ rằng bạn có nhiều kinh nghiệm là bạn sẽ có năng lực tốt, và đừng nghĩ rằng bạn có nhiều kinh nghiệm thì bạn sẽ luôn luôn là người đi trước. Bạn cần phải học hỏi để bạn luôn luôn là người dẫn đầu.
Wow, very nice, very nice. Theera, please.
Hi, hello. This is Theera. I'm from Thailand, and you know, my background is engineer, but I've been working with ExxonMobil, the major oil company, for 19 years before I start my own consulting company. And during that period, I also working as a board director in one of the public company in Thailand. So I think today I'm very honored and invited by my best friend from Cornell University alumni, okay, Ms. Ha. And I'm here to maybe share my experience and promoting the organization learning in Vietnam.
Thank you so much, both of our very special guests today. Thank you so much for your time. And I would like to say that this is our honor to have you here to talk about some of, sounds very, old term about learning organization, but in some way we still need to learn about learning. So
That's absolutely true.
I'm Ha Đăng from Respect Vietnam, and we also having a platform called weatwork.co. We really would love to take the effort on organizational learning for many reasons. And what is the reason? We have to listen to our guests today. So, both of our guests, may I start with very funny, quite of a fun metaphor in Vietnam. When I received many guests and business people, a government delegation from other country, the first question was, how's the Vietnamese working? How's the Vietnamese people really working? I said, wow, how can I giving you the basic answer? So I make fun and say, maybe you should look at how our traffic going, and you can tell some of the answer. They look at the traffic and say, wow.
Filling in the gap. Filling in the gap.
You see,
Exactly.
if you look in
We are like the ant,
Yes.
the ants, the whole
Is that
team
so?
of ants.
I'm not so sure I'm right or not, but what I'm seeing over the past 15 years of working in manpower, labor, and HR and business, we're seeing that somewhere is right. What do you think? Is that really the traffic explaining how the people reacting to the system, and how if you joining an organization is interacting with people the way they think, and how the system actually works? Please, Ms. Nam Phương.
Oh yes, I think that Vietnamese people love to learn. They love to learn everything, but they have the concept of comparative learning. Usually they learn from your experience, saying, okay, you are doing well, so I'm doing the same way to be well, like you, right? And if you have some failure, okay, I will avoid that failure. Okay, that's why I go faster than the others, because I avoid a lot of trial and errors in my life. Okay, so I cut short my tries, my efforts to learn. Comparative learning is very good points for those people who are at a very low level of knowledge and competency, because they need to close a big gap between themselves and those who are mastery in some areas. But for the organization, sometimes you need to go directly, through that pains, and you learn from the pains to be better. If you don't learn from the pain, someday you come back to make that pain.
Absolutely.
You're gonna suffer from that pain.
Yeah. So suffering from some pain to learn to growth might be the principle of organizational learning.
Wow.
we are talking about the organizational learning. We don't talk about individual because everyone will love to learn, right? But everyone is learning on their own way, differently, but also different perspectives and objectives.
Right.
Sometimes I need to learn something that I don't love to. For example, I'm a very unplanned person. But when I'm leading my organization, especially when I'm a project manager, and I'm a project manager for many projects all together in the same time, with about 10 or 20 teams interacting,
I have to set example.
then I need to be very planned, very systematic
Yes.
in interacting with my people. I need to learn the new tools to work with them and adapt all the tools into one so that people can work with me and I can understand people. So sometimes we need to learn something that we don't love to.
That is perfectly and beautifully said.
Because we are part of organization and because the organization needs you to be that part, that
Yes.
type of person. Otherwise, you just go out.
Perfect,
Right?
perfect. So may I say, may I ask you, next time if I meet some new business person and then a delegation from United States, for example, I shouldn't talk about traffic when we talk about people working. Is it so?
Yes, might be. But usually, even
Because-
when you are talking about those people in US, in Europe, in everywhere, you just ask them whether they want to be the part of organization. Otherwise, they are freelancing. But even when you are freelancing and you are part of the gig economy, you need to integrate into the system to be part of the economy, right?
Absolutely.
Even when we are shipper, when you are drivers, you also need to abide to some principles and process and system, right?
Yep.
And you need to learn to work with that system. Nobody, right? You just talk to the mobile
Exactly.
App, right?
the app, and then you just press. So it made some errors, you lost some money until you know that you don't need to press that button, right?
So you already talking about the traditional economy, and you talking about the gig economy, and you talk about blended or so many new term we're talking about.
But everything is about system.
Everything
it's
about
organization
learning. About
and
learning.
learning.
Perfect set. Thank you so much. So basically, whether the people taking a bike, motorbike, or car in that road, whether the goal they wanted to go, whether they really want to go fast, they want to win somebody and go faster, you need to learn how the traffic light really set there. Is that a police right there? Is that so?
Yeah.
To go fast, go and win. So that kind of metaphor which should, but Miss Namso already explained almost everything for us now. I just want you, especially Theera, to follow what Miss Namso said.
Yes.
We talk about individual learning, how have to adapt with the whole learning organization. But look in the picture of a huge organization like ExxonMobil.
Right.
Over the past almost 20 years,
Yes.
you're working there.
Yes.
Starting from the very
From the bottom
to
organization.
believe me, that is the best model of learning that I ever seen. That I'm seeing so many companies applying it, and it's a great success.
Yep.
Because the learning curve, in your case, was
Yes.
going up,
Yep.
and you see an empty position.
Yep.
So how can you describe it? Like in this, how your personal mastery really going, how you can set yourself learning from that bottom level to the top of regional manager in
Regional
Asia.
manager, yes. Well, it's a very good question, okay? And when I was graduate, okay, the only thing in my mind is go and find a job, right? And of course, when my mentor in ExxonMobil told me one day that they will hire you at the first level of your competency, like professional and mechanical engineer.
Yes.
So I was hired as a project engineer in the refinery, right? But through that learning, organizational, okay, because there's so many jobs in the organization,
Yes.
not just engineer. And at some point in time, they want supervisor. Okay, so they have to turn from individual to be supervise some level of people. Okay, from team, small
Some
team,
project.
small team, right? So that requires different skill.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not engineering. Okay,
Not
you need
anymore.
to work with people.
Yes.
Basically, different people could be older than you. Okay, and most of in my case, is older than me. Everyone are older than me. Okay, and so that organization have to have a system to be able to turn from individual competency to work together in a group. And my boss tell me one thing I never forget. Okay, I was at my early career. He said, at the beginning, you pay on your individual competency. Then you become a supervisor, you supervise some group of people. But later, you're going to become the leader and you have to provide a vision. To be honest, I don't understand. No, I mean, I was an
Perfectly said it.
engineer, okay? I just focus on my job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what are you talking about?
Oh
right?
my goodness.
And then and I will tell another second part of that later. And so I just, but the good thing about international organization like ExxonMobil, because they work with so many countries,
Yes.
okay, and they are big organization. So they have the systematic way in terms of they filling in the technical competency, organization, people, I mean in terms of people, and they have very strict career path. Okay, so actually in my 19 years with ExxonMobil, I probably changed job more than 10 times. Okay, so I've been able to move from project engineer to maintenance supervisor, then I went to Cornell. They pay me.
Okay.
All right. So that is part of the career path too.
You have a paid
Yeah.
learning.
Yes, I get
You
paid
get paid to learn.
for
Oh
my master
goodness.
degree at Cornell. Okay, this is a lot of money, by the way. So they invest a
That's
lot
wonderful.
of some people. Okay, not everyone. Okay,
Yes.
but they selected few.
Yes.
Then after that, I went to even they give me the internship in their engineering headquarters
Yes.
in Virginia.
Yes.
So I went to Virginia over the summer
Yeah.
to see how they work in USA, and then come back. I got assignment to Singapore, but totally different job now. I'm going to supply logistics.
Yeah.
Trading oil.
Yes.
Okay, from engineer now, I'm trading the oil. Okay, in the trading floor in Singapore. After that, came back. Now they're gonna give more job on the people. So I become like the unit manager. So I
Yes.
have maybe 40, 50 people working for me. And later on, they change the unit too. Not
Yeah.
stick to one unit. They change to another unit.
Did
And
you actually
yeah.
count how many?
That's why I say in my 19 years, I'm sure more than 10 jobs.
Okay.
So at least I never stay in the same job more than 2 years.
Okay.
That ExxonMobil organization. So
But
they want
we
to train.
still within organization of ExxonMobil.
Yes,
Yes.
within ExxonMobil, but different department. And they want me to learn everything, apply to project and then the retail, and then
And retail.
At the end to finance.
Okay.
So my last job is in finance.
I believe
Yeah.
you enjoy the career path, policy provided to the talents under some, policy of
Yeah,
HR
some
management
policy of
by ExxonMobil.
Yes.
Okay, and this need to be like the selected program. It's not applied for everyone.
everyone.
They need to assess your potentials of learning and put you under the pressure of quick learning and quick adaptation.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
Right?
Yes.
Under the pressure, because you have inside, the strength of a person who can catch up with everything and adapt quickly. Yeah. So I believe that that kind of developing people through all the departments and all the areas of one organization is a way of keeping people with them.
Yes, correct.
Keep the corporate memory, keep the corporate competency, and also the mindset of ExxonMobil there's, in the DNA.
In the
so,
DNA, yes.
So make you part of
Yes.
DNA of ExxonMobil,
Yes.
right? And whenever and wherever you go, you keep that DNA inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
It affects your behaviors of working. For example, ExxonMobil is about the quality. It's about to meet
Control,
the expectation and good control,
Yes, good control.
of the sustainable
Safety,
quality and safety, right?
yes.
Yeah. So whenever you are making decision, you always, put it inside in your mindset. So your mindset doesn't need to change. You just need to change some, set of knowledge in new areas.
Is that
Meaning-
correct?
And that's
Yes, so
enough,
correct.
right?
So let's put it like this.
Yeah.
You, let's Miss Nam Phương said, and you assume
Perfect.
that you enjoy the whole system, and you having your mindset of, and they see your potential learning. Am I
Actually,
correct?
to be honest, at the time, I have no idea why
That's what I want to
they
go-
keep changing me so like that, because sometimes I'm frustrated.
Okay, I want to hear
Yeah.
that part.
You feel-
What how did you go through that, and how many times you have to come again the system or the
Yeah.
He learned what he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to hear that. So when you're frustrated and how
See,
it all happens.
that's reality.
Yeah, that's
You know,
the reality.
Sometimes you still understand those plans not by me,
Yeah.
okay, by maybe HR, HR or some
We have a
Yes.
good sensory.
senior management, okay.
Here's the powerful one.
Imagine this.
Yeah, we are talking, we stop at the points that you are learning what you didn't want to learn. But HR people know your potentials, discovered your potentials,
Exactly what HR say,
and
right?
put you under the pressure so that you develop yourself naturally.
Okay, Theera, I love your part with how you describe all the journeys and go
Right.
from the very bottom level to the top level for 20 years, and
Yeah.
Miss Nam Phương cannot resist, but had to come and say
Yeah.
how much you enjoy the system, how much you enjoy what the career path set for you. And of course, in some way, like she said, maybe you might not really enjoy it. Tell us about it. Tell
I'm
us how you
frustrated.
keep continuing
Okay.
to learn.
Very good. And actually, to be honest, at some point, I was frustrated because you have to imagine, I'm very dedicating on the job, right? Assignment, okay. the time.
Assignment.
So, I mean, it takes some time for you to learn,
Yeah.
to be good in the new job, okay? I got a new job. I start to be like learning. to be good at it
Yeah.
and get on it and start to perform.
Master
They
it.
move me.
Yes.
And
Think about it.
I look at my boss and said, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I mean, why don't you just leave me?
I start performing. You
Yeah.
are moving
I
me.
start performing.
And
then I said,
go down.
oh,
Right?
Theera, by the way, you're going to go there. I said, what? As a young engineer,
Okay.
I said,
You don't go
because I
down,
don't
you go
understand.
up.
I don't understand why they have to move me so fast like that. Okay, maybe they just say, okay, you can do it now. That job you done, you do well.
Yes.
Okay, next.
Yes.
Something like that. Someone make that decision.
Yes.
And then I boom to a new learning
Yes.
new thing again. Learn again.
Yes.
But then you
Yeah.
like this, okay?
Okay.
Up and down a bit, but then again.
Okay, and then
So
like
any,
that.
anyway,
In-
your
in the
tendencies.
So the best part is they assure you the reason why you stop right there and go to the next.
Yes.
And definitely like the career ladder. It's a
It's
ladder.
a ladder.
It's a going
actually.
up.
I mean,
It's a ladder when it's going up. It's not going down.
it didn't going down.
Is that
it's
that
going
the
up.
true reason why you continue? Is that
Well,
the main reason why?
Maybe
Tell me.
first thing, one of my personal character, I love learning.
Okay.
Okay, I love learning new things. I mean, from the
Discovering the new
So
So think
world,
about
right?
think about if they put the
Okay.
right or wrong
Taking the
guy.
challenge.
Yeah.
Think about if they put the wrong
Yeah.
guy who doesn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
learn,
Yeah.
how the picture would look
But
like.
HR is about discovering
Yes,
people
yeah.
Not
potentials,
about
right?
Okay,
They're
and-
right when
and
discovering
I
in
love
you.
challenge.
You love
I love challenge.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
Learning new things, meeting new people. I mean, probably my core competency. Okay, so they said, okay, put him in that. Even sometimes some of the job is actually the problem that was lasting for a long time.
Okay.
They just maybe want to test it. Just put me
Yes.
there, fix it.
Yes.
Something like that.
Test the water.
Yeah, yes. Hey, go and fix it. That problem is like, I mean, since I came to the company, I know there's a problem there.
Okay.
Like sometimes it's people,
Yes.
sometimes it's
System.
some system problem. Okay, it's always, sometimes what always there may not be the right thing to do. It's always
So
like.
sometimes it's a
I mean,
problem.
it's always like that.
Sometimes it's a problem, sometimes it's people, sometimes
Yeah.
it's procedure,
Yeah.
sometimes it's policy.
Yeah,
Anyway, is that a policy you have to fix?
I mean, people say it's always like that.
Okay.
I said, but that's not right. Something like that. I mean, for the
That's the
new
point.
eye, for the new guy maybe,
Ah.
okay. But they give me some authority to
So
fix
which
it.
means ExxonMobil
Yeah.
allow the people
Allow.
who like to take lead to change.
Yes.
But
Other people
can
would
I
say-
then ask you a question?
Sure.
Sure, please.
Do you think ExxonMobil had some benefits from what you did?
Yes.
What
yes.
specific
Yes.
benefits that
Yes.
they have?
They always want the new angle, okay?
Okay.
Because, for example, the same problem there is always there, but you need probably the new eye,
Yeah.
okay? And actually, in the culture of ExxonMobil, which I'm not say it's the same like other Thai company culture,
Yes.
okay? That they allow
The young person
young
to go into the
to-
old
to
system
give,
and say
New
opinion.
voice
a
to the
viewpoint,
old
okay?
system.
And they listen to you.
Yeah.
Whether or not they do, that different matter. But at
Okay.
least they listen.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, if I go to this problem, I give my idea,
Yes.
how I see it.
Yes.
Okay. And maybe the boss will listen to it and see, hey, maybe that's work. Okay.
Yes.
Let's try it. Something like
Okay.
that.
I
And
think-
that happened in the organization that
So what you
I'm
see
grew
that
up with.
actually they get new feedback,
Yes.
which means the
System allow
of
that.
feedback loop actually happen
Yes. Allow
and
that.
is allowed.
Allow.
This is the illustrations of what we call the organizational change and learning. Sometimes when you are changing, it means that you need to learn something and do differently, right?
Absolutely.
But the first point of change is about changing the way you are taking the information and then, processing the information. So listening to young people, to new people from new angle is the way people start to learn together.
Yes.
So for my points here, for my viewpoints, I always see in that, way of, doing with career management, in organization. It's about keeping the talent, young people within the organization and put them into them the DNA of the organization.
Yes.
It's about the core competency,
Yes.
about the mindset, so that they can keep the level of competitiveness. Is it right?
That's right.
Because they never invest for nothing. They need to invest for competitiveness.
I give
right?
you another angle of that way, the learning way. Okay, for example, because maybe one of the advantages, like the company big like ExxonMobil, they are international. So even in the technical competency, like engineer, at fun time I was a turbo machinery, like a gas turbine electric generator unit, and they even sent me to do similar job, but in different refinery. Okay, I mean same job, and I'm go like an auditing team.
Oh.
Okay, like a review.
So you don't learn the job, you learn the new environment.
They send me to Japan, for example. Okay, refinery.
Same job.
Same job,
different
but
environment.
I do the review, okay,
Yeah.
for them maintenance planning.
Yes.
Okay.
When I sit there, I listen to some Japanese talk about their plan, and I realize that some we didn't do that way, totally different.
Okay.
And then I ask the question.
That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's a
two-way
learning.
learning,
Yeah.
right?
I ask
Yeah.
why
They learn from you and
why you do
vice
that
versa.
way? Why
Yeah.
you do that way?
Yeah.
And sometimes the answer is very simple. It's
Yeah.
always that way. I'm not kidding. And they don't know
That
why.
is the toughest one. They
And
don't know
and they don't know why.
They answer. They honest.
Yes, they're honest. Okay,
Yeah,
we are.
because it
We are.
truly is.
I mean, we are like peer actually. We are
Yeah.
peer. I'm not the boss. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here to help. So
I'm
we are
curious.
peer.
So how you do it? How
And
you
then
learn?
they say didn't need help because it's everything is okay.
Continue.
Yeah, because probably it's a program. It's organization program to improve, I think. So they have that structure. It's structure meaning that they will have, before you do the maintenance, like a big shutdown, you need to have another group to come in to help. Actually, to do the core eye, they call core eye review. Okay, core eye means you're not on that unit, but you do the same job in elsewhere.
Right.
Okay, so you bring your perspective, you come in, and you look at what they do, plan to do, and you give feedback.
Yes.
Actually, feedback.
Yes.
And from that question, they say, oh, this always done that way. It's required by law.
Okay, number one,
No,
compliance.
normally, when you say
Yes.
that, it's finished.
Yes.
But luckily, there was another Japanese from another refinery. They said,
Okay.
no, the law didn't say that.
Here we go.
The way they interpret.
Yeah, the way
Just
they
to
interpret.
back up their
this
way of
side
doing.
interpret that way.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
There's also another Japanese from
Yes.
another refinery in the
Yes.
team too. They say
Yes.
no, the law didn't say that, and they look at it in detail, and they can save a lot of money, just right there.
Wow.
From my question and the other feedback from the other Japanese, and they said, so we don't need to do that.
So they learn as well.
They learn as well.
their own
And
new thing for their own system.
For example, the specific task is like they have to open up one machine every year.
Yes.
And for us, I said, that is very risky. When you open it up, you put it together, you could do something wrong.
Yes.
Okay, if it's fine, don't touch it.
Yeah.
That's our way. And I asked them, in your experience of opening up every year, do you find anything wrong with it?
Okay. What did
They
they say?
said no.
Okay.
Only one time they put it wrongly together, it failed. I said, yeah, that's
That's the only way, really.
Yes,
the reason why.
I learned too.
Yes.
I learned that people do things differently from different rule. I think that thought is a rule, okay, but actually it's not. It's an interpretation, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, something like that.
Interpretation of what's going on. So in that particular.
And it's always like that. The answer is it's always like that.
So like you said, people don't learn because they safe with where they are.
They
But
say
when there are new element, new voice, really awakening what truly happening in their own brain, they will change.
Yeah.
If you can define in one word, and I would come to Ms. Nam Phương for that word. We need to keep some key word for it. You need to meet people not only to remember your story, because
Right.
your story is so extraordinary. Not many people who gonna go into, but I want them to remember the key word you keep for the end of that story. What you think that you can actually change and interfere or I say that make change or different into the system they meant not to change. What in you really? I'm only focused on yourself.
I think there are two ways.
Okay.
I mean, if you have authority.
Number
okay?
one.
If you have authority.
The right one.
I mean, at some job, I know it's hard to change.
Yes.
So I need to ask my boss, are you giving me the full authority?
Even a peer.
Yeah, even the
a
peer.
but
Okay,
you have
because
authority.
I mean, if I don't have authority, I definitely cannot make it happen.
And from top down is empowerment.
Yeah,
we call.
I mean, you have to give me empower, right?
Yes.
Okay, then I can make some change. Okay,
Yes.
that one way.
Yes.
The other way, you have to be able to influence some organization.
How to influence? You have to learn from it
sometimes
first.
I don't have authority.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
I
another
have to influence. Okay,
Okay, you have
influence
to go like this.
I have to say.
To get the power first,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, is it better if we can fix this? Something like that. And they say, yeah, I mean, it's always that problem. Something like that. I have to give them like the reason to change.
So you have to work really hard to understand them first and
Yes.
what they need first. And then gonna bring what you think would come to their own
Yes.
language to say,
Yeah.
here I have something you need.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Can we just make it simple like that?
Yes, I mean, give them some some like a common, I just say common goal or something.
Yes.
That if we can do this, your life gonna be better too, right?
Okay.
Okay. Let's find a way to do it. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Something like
People
that.
might not
influence
be,
them.
might not agree or might not very convinced by what you say. It sounds too easy.
Yeah.
In a matter of learning, and
Yeah.
this is the hardest part from people mindset and brain, how people work. The reason why I'm asking this, because you come to the culture from Thai to Japan, and like Vietnam, working with many other countries, what we always talk about trust. And when from trust from a person completely new to somebody, they actually listen to you and agree with solution to come to some sort of very big business decision.
Right.
You know that it's not that simple.
Not that simple.
So I want you and I encourage both of you to think for me, what is the secret ingredient here? It cannot be that simple. You have to have something that you gain the trust. Not only the first day, the second day, how to actually do it. Let me describe it in a simple way. We work in with so many companies, and we don't work with individual only.
Right.
We work with team alignment that we call. So the big thing in not only in Vietnam and in Asian country is a team silo. You could have amazing and different talent everywhere. Unfortunately, they don't work with each other. Like she mentioned it's a competitive learning. People want to be better than others in so many aspects. Not just money, not just power, but there's something I want to be better than others. So team silo came in, and that make, project cannot work done on time. The goal for finance is not there. And so many things pulling people back. You telling me by simply build trust, by just saying that, oh, I'm gonna come in and do this, and then I'm telling them what they do. What we seeing is the communication part, where so many people like to using their own mindset and language to talk and impose on others. That's where the trust cannot be. I don't know where is the right one, but that's how we talk about goal alignment. We try to bring them into one goal and align them, try to see that how they can go together. I'm not sure that's the right one. That's why I want you to think about your own keyword about it. What do you think?
I know exactly what you say, the
Okay.
silo, because even ExxonMobil organization is a very silo, go direct, and actually the hierarchy is not so many layer too.
Yeah.
Okay, from me to the CEO of ExxonMobil Corporation, probably 6th level only. It's not that far.
Yeah.
So it's really big organization like that, okay?
Yes, yes.
And it goes like that,
Yes.
okay? Exactly, there's something that they don't cooperate because they have their interests.
Yes.
They protect some interest.
Yes.
That's
Conflict
why
of interest.
the group interest. So that's why ExxonMobil actually they have the effort. They do have effort
Okay.
to try to have some synergize
Yes.
between the different organizations. They have to embed that into the performance evaluation.
Perfect.
Okay,
That's
without that, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
Okay?
I really want you to
to be
say
honest,
about it.
right?
Yes.
And they have to be able to quantify the benefit of synergize that. So, and you can be able to put that in your when you do the performance review.
Yes.
Because I do that with that department, we can save the corporation this much.
So very specific and quantify
Quantify.
about what you can
They
do
call,
and what you can get.
They call general interest.
So
it's not
it's
just
not-
your interest, it's
Perfect.
perfect.
So it's
to-
not survey, it's not 360 degrees, just asking, do you like that person, you work with this person, but no. Here exactly what you're supposed to do in quantify what you're doing, and then in compensate to that, this is what you get.
But the organization must have the way to do that.
Yes.
Meaning that actually they have a group, they can actually bring in the group from different departments who competent in that group
Okay.
and work together and have someone
Yes.
supervise that. Okay.
That person
Yeah,
really important, isn't it?
independently who have
Yes.
similar
Yes.
kind of power to those individual boss too.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so like someone in. So this group have to do like balancing between their own organization, silo way, and the common group,
Yes.
and they interact now. And they separate, they interact
Yeah.
freely.
Yes.
They can say on the table, hey, I mean, this we can save this. Can we do this? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that is they have structure.
Yes.
They have to have a structure.
That's so important
Yeah,
when you
it
put it.
cannot just
the
happen.
The synergy,
Yeah, cannot just happen.
the structure, and the person who actually make it happen.
Yes.
Right? Let's put that
Yeah.
3 keyword here
Yeah.
for what you just say, and because it never be simple
It's not
without
simple. It's not that
system and
simple.
structure. Exactly what you mentioned. So may I go back to the case of Vietnam, where Ms. Nam Phương is one of the most experienced people working in HR field in large scale project. I would like to say when we're working with so many companies, and one of the story, maybe two. One is people say, I don't understand my organization because I see it changing so much in so many ways, which is everybody can explain. I don't understand, so I don't stay because I'm not fit, like you mentioned it. Number two is that they say, well, I think performance evaluation or management is the most important, but in Vietnam, that particular system does not really require or popular or really put investment in many companies. The majority doesn't look into that yet. People like to treat each other based on different policy, but not performance management. They have a lot of systems. There are some big companies have a lot of systems to manage performance. Sometimes they just 360-degree interview each other. Sometimes other project review, another talking about the system KPI, which is another different one, interesting. And maybe they talk about the change management one, they encourage people by working on innovation and evaluate them. So at least they have 2, but maybe 4 or 5 systems different to evaluate that person is good or not. But to go back to the number, the quantifier of it is not there yet. Do you think the same way? Is that too negative saying that?
For me, the performance management system is not only on the paper, it also on the behaviors of managers.
Sure.
Sometimes you just know, they say managing by wandering around means that you interact with your people, see how they are working and memorize the way they are working to assess their performance.
That's one.
A lot of people just to assess the level of compliance of people, how people are complying with the principle and system. And if you are doing that way very correctly, they expect that the quality is good. Because all people are doing the same way.
Yes.
Even when they are doing wrong, they are wrong in the same way.
Okay.
So that we can correct that
so
errors in a system.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For example, when you are mistyping, you say sometime N Phương, sometime Non Phương, sometime T Phương. I cannot correct that mistake. But if you are all the time saying Nam Phương is Nan Phuong, then I can replace all right. Systematically find the error and replace and correct it. If you are doing the errors in a systematic way, I can correct it in a systematic way. If you are doing everything as a mass, I cannot correct
Randomly.
it. All right?
So many directions.
Yes. So performance management is about tracking the way people are doing and tracking the quality and results that they are delivering. So you say about KPI, about the 360 degrees, and everything just focus on what you are delivering or how you perform in the way that you are abiding to the system, or do you apply some principle, behave in the way I expect. For example, you ask me first and do it later, or you do it and report to me is 2 different things, right? So performance management system is not only on the paper, but also in the mindset of people. And it shows you how the managers track the way and the results that their subordinates deliver.
How should we, or how we can quantify even only from mindset? Because what we're seeing, and that what I talk about performance management in many companies, I don't say all because I don't know all. In many companies in Vietnam, because the hardest part is not to make people comply with. It's the hardest part is to how to identify what is the indicator or what is the standard or what is the benchmark that make people follow. In many companies, they have that, but then they have to change because of a market and customer. So when things like that doesn't exist or changing too much, people have a problem of understanding how much I have to do to really fit in that organization. What do you think?
I think we don't need to lead too far into a very philosophical, concepts. We just go down earth on the way the organization needs something from their employees. We are talking about organizational learning, and now we are talking about performance management. Everything is about what you are delivering for the organization to sustain. You are doing a lot of things.
Yep.
But do you contribute to the profits?
Absolutely.
So
Okay.
profit go first, money go first.
Yes. So everything, when they are putting you in some project, they only ask whether your decision is contributing to the final number, right? The triple bottom lines. Here, the first one is profit.
Financial goal.
Yeah.
Yep.
The 3P is about people, planet, and profits, but profits is number one.
I'm so happy you brought that up because this is exactly the perfect way to put it. When you look in a business, a core thing is financial. Bottom line is money.
Yeah. So when they are investing
they
him,
cannot stay, they cannot survive, they cannot call themselves business. Is it that correct?
when they are investing in learning,
Yes.
this is not for individual to be better, but for the organizational better. In
Definitely.
the same way, everyone is happy.
Yes. But let me try a little bit more. This is very practical and this is happen out there. This is the reality. When you have the front end people, that's what we call the people who confront with customer, who actually doing sale, who actually can collect the money, to actually sell and know how much sales is, actually how much revenue stream out there. They are the one. You can definitely tell this is how much money I want you to generate for me.
I understand your
But
points
we-
about the back office,
Yeah,
right?
how back
Who
office
just
and
spend
the
money.
people can actually
But you need
call
to
some
spend it
friends.
smartly.
How?
And we have the model called the value change by
Okay.
Michael Porter, right?
Okay.
He says if you are collecting the revenue, you need to make it better and better, bigger in revenue.
Yes.
But those people who are spending money, you need to spend it in a very smart way, so that you can, optimize the first the expenditures,
Yes.
so that you can optimize the profit, right?
Yes.
So when the organization sustain their competitive advantage, it means that they have a bigger and bigger profits. So learning is about spending money.
Yep.
So if you are learning just to spend money, then you have no profits, right? So here I think organizational learning is about improving their system, where people are interacting together on a platform of some procedures, some principles, so that they can deliver the results to their customer first.
Another word, the back end one, the one that pretty hard to measure performance in
No.
finance.
No.
Have to work.
Very easy if you are
Yeah.
connecting their activities
Yeah.
to the final one. For example, if the people in the refinery, they are operating the system, right? They need to keep the turbines operating all the time. And they need to have the OEE the best, right?
Yep.
You have the OEE. If OEE is the best, the profit is good.
Yes.
Yep.
You have a lot of indicators that
But you
connecting.
probably talk about like back office, like accounting.
Anyone, and I'm giving even a simple example with HR people.
HR.
I'm giving who's doing staffing. I'm giving it as one
Okay.
example. We go into the hotel, and we see what people struggling the most is not about advertising how beautiful the hotel is. It's about how the service, and most important, when the hotel full, how many staff they need to serve and make them all 2,000 customer happy. Because most of the time in hotel only full during weekend with 2,000. During weekday only 200. How you staffing in a way that you keep all the customers serving for 2,000 customers on weekend and 200 of them during weekday?
Then now the back office is telling their story.
Yes.
How they train people,
Yes.
how they keep the process running in the same way.
Yeah.
Even in a scale of 200 or 2000, right? And how they keep the mindset of people who are serving people still serve,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So here the system and the competency, the core competencies goes out. The core competency of the organization is about everyone is doing the same thing in the same way, with the same mindset that make that organization different from others. You enter the hotel, you feel the friendships, you feel the warmth, right? And you see that everyone is serving you in the same way because you have a good system that maintaining people to do it. And also we are talking about now and here, right? We need to talk about the Gen Z. We need to talk about the technology.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. If your organization doesn't introduce technology into your operating system, you can be backwards comparing with others. So you need to change the way you are operating. Okay, you're introducing the new platform or new software to replace people in checking in ordering the service, so on.
Yep.
Right? Then people need to change their skills. They learn and do it. That means organizational learning happens. But if they learn but don't do it, nothing. Okay, so I think the change in the way you are delivering the service and product to the customers make them happier. I mean, the customer experience is more and more positive. This means that your
So in other
organization have already learned something and changed.
So in other words, if a team silo happen with people who actually can generate anything with the financial bottom line, but for some who's not, you have to try to make sure those people, especially from back end, truly understand the customer, understand the business model, or understand what the front end really doing. Is that correct?
Now in the new world, everyone is a customer of someone. HR has the whole organization as their customer. And finance also have all people in the organization their customer internal, right?
Right.
Yeah, if you are pleasing, you are making internal customers happy, then the organizational customer is happy, right? Because you are doing it quickly, exactly, in a very proper way and politically correct and mentally correct,
It's so
culturally
important.
correct.
I totally agree with you.
Right?
This is so
here-
important. That's the reason why so many companies coming to OCD and so many companies to learn, and they have new knowledge every day to learn how to make things happen. But I still want to go a little bit further out with the team silo because this is very practical. When we talk about all that and there's some company, they learn all of that and they try to treat each other in the real way. It's good. The challenge of identifying the bottom line of what we call financial bottom line and non-final bottom line. I'm really pretty sure that many other indicators you cannot measure. For example, reputation. This is the value of the company. So we have an interesting case happening with company who sit down and then the people who cannot really, they see that their contribution is not measured or appreciated in the right way because they work too hard to make the front end people happy, like you say, because they're customer. So when they literally, as a customer, whatever the marketing and sales say anything, back office have to supply on time to make them happy, isn't it? But that's not that simple anymore because when they have the resources, they have a lot of people, they have a branding, they can recruit good people. But at some point they cannot provide that and they become a conflict between front end and back end. This is the house when, the people on top really don't know what happened with two of them, with both of a group. They're struggling. And even they're using the digital transformation. Can you believe it? They're using the system for that company to work on, but the data is to put on by their own people. Can you imagine this particular case, maybe it's not happening at ExxonMobil, maybe it's not in some way. Can you explain or giving you advice how to learn for them, how to learn in that way?
To me, the team silos is the natural things in organization. You can never demolish it. It always happens with those organizations who are specialized in something. When you are specialized in your profession, you have your own value. And when people are cannot, accepting the values of each other, they became silos. Even when the leaders say, oh, talking to each other, love each other, we are all in same, we are
that.
brothers, and the world is, for the whole family. No,
But in
because
the back,
the value is different. Accounting needs the exact number, no change, nothing change, and should be the system. And people want the agile, the flexible way of treating the numbers. That's the conflicts of values.
So may I wrap this part up by really go back to what you talk about, set of value. We have example of going to different company and exactly with the team silo, we still dreaming to demolish it. trying.
We just try to make it lower.
Yes.
The silo is lower, but never disappeared.
Never ended it.
People need to understand the values. Sometimes you don't ask people to accept the values that you don't believe.
Let me share something because the silo will always be there, like you say, because it has to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're human nature.
Yeah, but the system have to be able to recognize the synergize, okay, and it reflect in the performance somehow.
Yes.
Without that, it will never make it work. Okay. Somehow, you have to be able to make some KPI.
Yeah.
Or
we have
metric.
OKR here.
Okay. I
Trying
don't know.
to do that.
Yeah, something like that.
Everything
have
just
to
the way
to
measure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you individually very good, but totally very bad,
yes,
you don't get.
Someone has to be blamed.
Someone has to be out.
I totally
Yeah,
with you.
that's the
Totally.
only way. You measure, you get what you measure.
Yes. So that's why I want to share with you when we're going to try to see how the both back end and front end by doing the first time ever they sit down for 4 hours. We figured out what both of you know about the customer of a company. I'm giving one example. Yeah, this is the result. Instead of talking about many things that cannot measuring, many things that intangible, people have to write down. Number one, what exactly 20% of a customer come to that resort on that day and really make 80% of the income number. And then they have to say what exactly the customer really want from that resort. So the very first time, back end and front end, and even people inside the front end, including marketing and sales, they have a different result. They have a different angle of looking at that customer. And then of course, back end would have a different, but the very first time, they got to see that why that silo, the different. If you're putting into the business model, here you need to come into one. We need to define 20% of the most important customer who generate 80% of the income, the revenue, and work on that. So with that, they work, try to leave away all the barrier between them in terms of mindset and way to back there, interesting part. After they do it, they can define the term of value because before that, the value is so many ways amazing, but people still cannot remember and they have to have a little book like this to learn about the value every day, learn by heart. But when it actually at work, they cannot tell what the difference between what customer want and the regulation of a company. So that is an example. We are working on that direction. We cannot say that come 100% amazing or getting the result. But what I can say here, and I want to have your opinion to wrap this part up. In terms of learning, we all talking about one could learn in so many directions, like you said, and people learning in different directions as well. But it would come into the common goal, which is again still controversial up here between financial and non-financial goal. Should we actually have to mindset of changing where we are doing with the people who mostly right now, at least in Vietnam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, mainly working on task base. We're working on the particular job that the boss give us because that's the right thing.
Yep.
We have to transfer that into result based and goals based. The goal that set the whole, organization together. I don't know whether any better way you might think about it, but this is how we see that it's the must in where to see the majority. Let's not talk about only some talent, but the majority of how people switch from task-based to goals-based. What do you think?
I think
In terms of learning.
in terms of learning, we always share the values between the organization and a person. If individual don't want to learn, organization doesn't have anything. But if they learn but not share and keep the corporate memory there so that they can transfer to the next generation and develop more.
Yes.
I mean the same values should be interpreted into the behaviors that match every generation. Our generation of 60s and 70s, usually we are trying to get, hey, come together, talk together. We talk about the common goals, right? But Gen Z, they don't. Why they need to talk about this? You just put it there, and if I am aligning with that, I go
So
together
no talk,
with you.
just do it.
No talk, just do it.
Okay.
And your behavior shows what you think.
Yeah.
I don't need to communicate more.
Yeah.
But we need to communicate. We need to interpret. And they just, okay, whatever you interpret, if you are different from me, bye-bye. If you are the same, I sit here because anyway, I sit in the organization just for 2-3 years. I will change. This is not about learning.
Yeah.
This is about the planning of their future.
Okay.
So even they don't learn anything, but they change the job.
Yeah.
So one job in many organizations. But every time when I'm hopping to the new job, I get a higher salary, a new environment to enjoy, new boss to interact. If I love that boss, I sit more, okay?
If I don't
Until
like-
I don't love him, I leave him, okay? So because boss anyway is changing himself. We can never be for 10 years the same person, right? So we are changing, people are changing, so everyone is learning to adapt to each other. But not only people together, right? It should be the DNA of your organization. Usually the leaders are putting the principle here there, the procedure there, the policy here, so that to keep the core competency means what we are excel from our competitors. We are doing better in what? Then people learn to keep that all the time for the organization. Okay, to be profitable all the time. If we are not learning to do it, it's just for us. If we are learning to contribute, to do differently and put into the system what we can make the organization to be profitable, then we are part of organizational learning. But organization need to provide me with a system of learning and keeping the corporate memory. Not only, for example, the total reward system or performance management or the procedure in operating your machines, right? This is the way people are interacting in job. But how people are interacting in learning. We are, for example, FPT is talking about the sư phụ and đệ tử system, right? Okay,
Junior and
the
master.
junior and
They
master
learning from
and
each other.
yeah, okay, coach and coachee,
Yeah,
okay.
coach.
But this is the system. They are not just I love to be okay and then I go away. They keep the way of coaching in the same way, very systematically, so that they can transfer, influence, and keep even, the DNA here. For example, FPT is still keeping in there the positive, thinking. They are humorous because they are smart and positive, right?
So
Everyone who is smart and positive can be humorous.
okay, we hope so.
I hope.
You cannot be humorous when you are not smart, right?
And we're not happy
Yeah. So this is the
because
way.
we can be sarcastic.
the way people are learning to communicate with each other. What you say about the communication, right? When you are communicating, you start your learning journey, but you just stop at there. Okay, get the information without processing it. You are not learning. But if you learn and just for yourself, you don't change the way you are doing and adapting to your subordinate, boss, right, customers, then
So,
this is not for your
obviously,
organization.
we cannot wrap it up. We have to need another day for this because we're gonna work
Yes.
all day for this.
So the
So
system
may
of
I-
learning,
Yes.
system of learning and keeping the corporate memory knowledge and how to transfer to new people very quickly, even the Gen Z,
Yeah.
so that you can right away put them into work, learn very quickly, contribute right away to the productivity of your team first, and later on teams
So
talk
may
to
I
each
not
other.
use the word system? Let's go back to exactly the best term that I love for what you're saying, we're using all the time, DNA. So many Gen Z and even elderly keep talking about that, so many programs, but people still don't know what DNA means even in their own company. What's the problem is that?
Communication.
So how you call to DNA? How you call it? In ExxonMobil, you call it?
my DNA, very simple, ethical, safety,
Yes.
Control.
Control.
I can say you exactly that is our DNA. And
That is very consistent DNA.
consistent.
Quite consistent because control,
Safety,
safety
and ethical.
ethical.
Yeah.
Do you have any, I would love to have more time to say, do you have any problem with innovation? We come back to feedback loop, we can talk later on with a second part. But in some others, when we see DNA, there is some terms that contradicting. For example, you really need to do fast to get to what you need, like they call it result oriented. But at the same time, they have to be aggressive to get what you want. But at the same time, you have to create the harmonized environment where we love each other and happy. There's so many people came to us and say, how come we can competitive and be happy at the same time with each other? Like the synergy that you mentioned, if looking at the synergy of work, both the people working, and if you cannot create a system, they feel fair of who doing better, who get better, or I help him, he have to thank me. The system is not fair and they upset with each other and we have a team silo again. Is that correct? So simply put it, is it anything that we call in the matter of learning? And I say many people still have struggling learning about organizational DNA. What do you say? How we will make it simple? Do we need to simplify it?
Usually during the recruitment process, we find people who are aligning with our values. That's the quick way of getting the DNA from the organization into their heart.
Which means that the DNA needs to be very clear. The test.
Yeah, right. DNA is about behavior. DNA is, for example, how safety interpret into the belief and behaviors.
But actually,
Safety and ethical.
Just to be some idea, those DNA actually translate to the profit.
Yeah.
Because
behavior
the company believe that without safety,
Yeah.
without control,
You lost your money.
you will lose money.
Yesterday we see
That what
FTE,
they believe. That in the company believe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So usually
Yes.
when we are recruiting people, we don't recruit
to get there.
Yeah.
we don't recruit for their knowledge because knowledge can be learned. They don't really talk about the skills, ready-made skills, because skills can be changed. But the attitudes, the mindset, and the belief,
Yeah. Those are mainly
we cannot change.
very hard to measure.
Yes. Yeah. So we are recruiting people who have the same belief, the same attitudes and mindset, or very close to that, so that we can quickly get them into it and brainwash them right away to our DNA values.
You see
and
how
then they perform.
aggressive we are, right? In the system, we're so competitive. I need to wrap it up.
Yep.
But thank you so much. You see what I said? We got into that conversation. We don't need anything. We don't need a good question. We need where we are. And thank you so much for giving so much information and knowledge. But I think there are also a way to wrap things up in the way the audience would understand. because not always of the audience will follow, because even though they really want to learn. May I take a little bit more of the time talking about something like you already mentioned it from the beginning about learning organization. When an organization with so many people, so many teams, so many projects, so many interacting with different blocks, leaders, there is a system for feedback. And the feedback loop actually tells how much the organization actually learn. They learn from each other, they learn from a customer, they learn from the leader to the people underneath, or the new person with the old one. Let's say that at this point now. What about that feedback loop actually tell how much the organization learn? And if you can, put in the very famous term that I will enjoy but not so sure it still get into mind. Andrea Durrell saying that during COVID and any crisis of VUCA, they said organization who can learn faster and apply what they learn faster than a competitor, then they would have the sustainable advantage, right?
Yep.
But do the feedback loop actually can help seeing quickly than evaluate so many learning programs in that organization? How the feedback loop in ExxonMobil will encourage you to actually learn more and then achieve more?
Well, I think as an international company, okay, I would say that the company like ExxonMobil, they're more open for like feedback, okay, even up,
Yes.
okay, and that's not necessarily true for other company in Thailand, okay. I cannot say that for, I mean, in Thailand you probably cannot say something to your boss, okay?
No. Boss doesn't
Japanese,
like it.
absolutely no.
No,
okay.
no. Yeah.
In the culture,
Yes.
in the culture, in the structural.
DNA.
But in the,
Yes.
I don't know, yeah, I can call it. But in the international company,
Yes.
you know my boss, I have my American boss, and he tell me this, Theera, you can have different opinion than me. You can share your point of view,
Yes.
okay? Convince me, is it going to work?
Yeah.
If you are, I'll follow you,
Yeah.
okay? But if both ideas are about the same, you just have to follow me because I'm your boss. I mean, and I'm very
Very true.
clear, okay?
Yes.
So at least he opened for me to share something.
Vietnamese saying
Yeah.
dân chủ tập trung. I'm listening to you, but I'm decide on my own.
But
Vietnam,
in,
what she means is centralized democracy.
yeah, but in reality, okay, I'm talking about reality here. They really listen to you. If your idea might work, okay, they're willing to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen that in many cases of my career.
Yeah.
Because I coming from a different angle.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I know the person in that unit. I know the problem is not technical problem, it's a people problem.
Perfect.
So in that, I mean, no matter how you try to fix it,
Yes.
you're not going to work.
No.
Because it's not the problem about
Yeah.
technical.
Yes.
It's about people.
Yes.
So we have to go deep inside that, and I can say that, I mean, to fix that, actually, it's not, you can try another million years, it's not going to work.
Yes.
Okay? You have to do this. You want to try? He said, okay, go do it. But you have to give me authority.
Yeah.
Because if not, I cannot go in there,
Which means, another word,
Kill.
they're willing to let you make mistake. Can
Oh,
I
yeah,
say that?
yeah, yes,
They're taking
yes.
risks of learning.
Yeah,
and give the chance
together.
together. Because they're willing to let you try, meaning
Yes.
that they accept the mistake.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Can
if
I
it
say
doesn't
that?
work, it's the same like before.
But
Nothing to lose.
but they cannot
Yeah.
risk the mistake in the way that they will lose their financial bottom
Yeah,
line.
no.
Can I make it
Yeah,
correct?
sure,
So in
sure.
learning organization, they also have another term, and I really love it. They call it intelligent fast failure. Meaning that we allow the mistake during learning.
Oh, yeah.
Because we never try new thing, how can we know that it's right or wrong? So when you make mistake or you fail, you better fail fast. That's another angle of learning, because if you don't learn deep enough, you cannot fail fast. You would continue failing, or you fix it one time, but the next time you don't fix it in the end, you don't fix in the root causes, and then repeat again.
Yeah, in the engineering term, we call the root cause analysis. We
Yes.
have to fix at the root cause.
Yes.
If you don't fix the root cause, it keep coming back.
It's coming back all the time.
All
It's
the time.
coming back all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
you know, when you are talking about this way of, you know, treating the learning process by doing and failure, learning from the mistakes, right?
Yes.
Make your own mistakes.
Yes.
And learn from this.
Yeah.
And we call in Vietnamese, yeah, kẻ thành công đánh rơi bí kíp. Yeah, the success person drop out or forget about his
Secret
surviving secrets.
surviving secret.
How he survives. Yeah, when you all the time succeed, you forget all the surviving ways, you know, you have in the past,
Definitely.
right?
Yes.
If
You
you
don't.
fail a lot, you remember it.
Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And
So
what
right.
what I'm talking about the learning platform in organization, because we are talking to each other,
Yes.
we are sharing, and
Yes.
everything go with the wind,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
We need to keep somewhere this recut,
Yes.
okay, and share with the next generation, and they will put into it the new experience, the way they survive the failure or
Yes.
survive the success.
Yes.
Yeah, the secret of success,
Yes.
they will need to put it there so that people can see both, you know, failure and success, secret and not secret,
Yeah.
okay? Sometimes you are doing something very simple but in a very sustainable way for so many years, and you can be abnormal person. Very, you know, the heroes, you turn into the hero, right? But here in organization, we need to recut and share somewhere so that everyone can access to that. It might be a person who is sitting there, and every time when you have question, hey, can I ask something? And you are the living library,
Perfect.
right? But here, with the new generation, they don't love the living library. They need the technological library. You need to put somewhere so that they can access there anytime, anywhere, to get the information very quickly, shortly. Keep it simple.
Meaning that people really need to learn from the mistake, and that is better even than learn
Organization
from only
need
the success
to
story.
classify the problems, the success and failure into a system,
Yeah.
so that people can learn very systematically.
Perfect.
Just not from story,
Yeah.
but also story illustrates some points, some principle, so that they avoid that principle, right? That mistake systematically. I mean, learning organization happens when you have the platform, so that you can classify all the problems that people are experienced in the past, okay? Learn from the past, classify into a system of problems and principles that you need to follow or avoid, so that people can access and
Like a library?
yeah, and then learn from it, and they learn on their own. They can choose what to learn, yeah, and adapt to this system.
Is that truly happening? Because when we talk about learning and actually talk about mistake, I love it so much because I don't have to make a question. You already bring it up. We talk about learning from the past and learning from mistake.
Yes.
Let's bring a little bit of here. You mentioned it, and perfectly, the best way for we to remember is from our mistake, not from our success story, unfortunately. But in putting to the organizational cultures concept, no one like to talk about mistake. It sounds negative. We talk about failure. It sounds negative.
No.
How to store
We call
those
it
things
learning
into
points.
Well,
We call it
How-
learning
yeah,
points.
how-
We
how
don't.
to- How to point that?
I
Yes.
mean, that is from my experience. You know, the core DNA,
Yeah.
ethical,
Yes.
safety,
I love it.
okay, control.
Yes.
Actually, every year,
Yes.
we have to review the case we found
Yes.
around the world
Yes.
of this problem. That's the review.
Yeah.
I
And
will have to
review.
hear it.
And
Yes.
in the
Yes.
review, you say
Very-
points of learning
Yeah.
points, right?
And recommendation.
So you think
Yeah.
that
Yes,
people
they
will
do.
remember
This is
it
not
better?
failure.
I mean, if you think that is a DNA,
Yes.
okay, you have to put in structural way for people to hear that.
Yes.
I mean, not to go into that part again,
Yep.
Yes.
right? Safety, some explosion,
So how you
fire.
do it? You make it a story. You make it a
They
library.
have
how
like in the case there will be case and they have to review it.
Wonderful.
I mean, there will be a venue that you have to review it. Okay, in the past, it's not to the point it become like a, so much digital like that. Okay, we have to go like have meeting, they review it. This is happening in that plan, explosion. You know,
Yes.
and
So
because of
important.
that, root cause, this is recommendation. So you hear it.
Yeah.
You hear.
So who doing that? The learning department doing that?
Yeah.
Should be every
They give it to the supervisor.
departments who puts it there.
They have a document.
Yeah.
That
so
can be
learning
Oh, the
is
archive
about
transfer.
organization need
Yeah,
to put it
organization
down,
have to do it.
written
The
down
boss have to
somewhere.
do it.
In
And-
Vietnam, do we have any company actually do it?
FPT has already
FPT have
done
already?
it with their university and the academy.
And Exxon take
in
another step.
OCD, we have
Yes.
that
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
We have that-
ExxonMobil have another step. After you review all those,
Yes.
every year, you have to sign, understand. You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
use
Sign
paper.
that you understand.
You
Yes.
recognize
Perfect.
that you understand that
Yes.
learning points,
Every
okay?
year.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's very serious, huh?
Yes.
It's not like,
So when they sign it, which means in case that they make the same mistake, they can look back in the
I
sign.
didn't say that, okay? But,
I want to know what are the consequences
put
of it.
the very seriousness about this. It's very serious. Huh? You need
Yeah.
to review this.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, if you are someone who signed something you don't read,
I so love it. You guys
that's
bring
the-
it both into
that's
this
your
conversation.
problem.
Because when we go into the company and we trying to tell them to learn from the mistake, what did we do? We bring in a story of other company, the global and successful one, saying that look, if you want to learn from your mistake, let's say you're in service industry and you want to learn from a customer. Every year you have a system of customer review, feedback, right? If you look at 90% of what customers say great thing about you, 5-star in TripAdvisor and Booking.com, you might not learn anything. But you only 5% of what customers hate about you, the 1-star.
Yeah.
What is going to tell you? People start to look into, yesterday we got into the CSMO and the English Service Excellence event. They start talking about it.
Yeah.
But the word already mentioned it. And the next part is actually calculate how much the organization lost if they let that 5% exist in the organization. So interestingly, that there is different direction, different way of make people learn from the mistake.
Yes, actually, those we are mentioning in meetings, in so many events, but just it's scared everywhere. Distributed.
Yes.
When we can maintain a centralized system that people can access,
Yeah.
any generation of leaders and employees can access
Yeah.
to that and share and
Yes.
discuss about how we interpret these learning points and do it differently in the future.
Yeah.
That is the way we learn for the organization, and
Yes.
organization can change from that.
Perfect, perfect, Phương. Thank you so much. So let me wrap this up by finally saying that if we can say anything with so many systems, so many competencies, so many requirements for us to really be in an organization, learn and grow and survive and thrive with the organization itself and interacting in so many ways. But simply put it, can we say that particular person and that team, that person needs to learn more about the organization where they are. The day they interview and get probation and stay. At the same time, that organization, including whoever they're working there, really have to understand the people inside. Because we just mentioned it, talking about knowing and doing my gap. That with so many leaders want to make amazing strategy, but they don't know whether they can execute it. So learning to make each other understand each other should be the simple way to describe organizational learning. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
No?
no.
Learning to understand each other.
Organization
so you can
is
stand.
about organization. If you are talking about individual, it's individual. We need
So
to
they're not
we
going
need
together?
to put we need to stand on the organization view to see it, because organization has its own goals, right? Mission and vision and
That's what
values.
I'm saying.
Okay, the organization put to the individuals all this information, let them know what to do to execute that, and people are learning to do this for the mission, for the vision, for the goal, and share the values.
Right, but what I'm saying
In
is
a
that
systematic
the
way.
organization, if they have a great vision and the training to make sure the people underneath understand, that's no question. But there's an organization still struggling with their own, vision, DNA, and how the things changing, it make it hard for them to train people underneath what they need to do. That is when I'm talking about learning from both sides. One is to train other, or learning what I need to change my training program. If I have new set of a customer segment, I have a new market, I have to train. So that training thing is actually how people iterate and learn from each other. If I don't use the word learning for that, so what should I use? No?
I have different viewpoints than what you are saying, because I know that you are driving into this model, but this is outside this model.
No, I think it's simple, because we are talking about organization with a lot of members inside. With the people, the day one when they got in the interview, got into your probation, that's 2 months, they already your member. At that point, they need to learn about that organization.
Remember that without organizational learning, people do it. Without organizational learning concept, people already do it. Get people into the organization, make the onboarding, training, give their procedures and principles, and ask them to do it. And we are creating the business model, and people are following it.
But
we are talking about organizational learning. It means that
I totally agree with you. But look in Vietnam right now, where the ratio of turnover is really high. Many chairmen and people in the big organization have to accept the fact that the market is too loose. People coming in organization and you recruit to one go, which means 50% of turnover. How to explain it? There's so many ways to explain it, but people mostly say, I don't like that organization. And the leader say, that person not fit in my organization. But people don't know what is that. So we're trying to say that by learning, that get people know each other more and know why I'm fitting in here and why that person is not right for that job. That's all I want to talk about, learning in that way.
But this is learning, not organizational learning.
It's not?
Right? You are talking about learning, and I agree. Because learning is part of a life.
Yeah.
Right? You are going outside and hit that table, for example. Next time, you just avoid this table. This is your learning, right?
No, but
you are learning on every step. You are there in organization. But
like you said, some people don't know and don't want to learn. What I'm trying to say is, they come into a place, you have to learn about that place.
People even learn when they don't learn. People even learn when they don't learn. For example, they come and see me, they don't love me. They don't talk to me anyway. This is the way they learn, right? They talked to me one time, and this woman is so scary. I don't talk to her. Okay, this is learning. The next time, they don't interact with me.
Okay.
They learn. So individual learning happens every moment you live in this world.
But like you said, when they go into the place,
organizations.
You mean that term, those two separated completely?
Yes, because individual learning everywhere, even there in the organization or outside. He can be a good person in ExxonMobil or in any organization. When he finds his challenges, right? He develops himself everywhere he go. But organizational learning, when connect all this learning of individual into the system that the organization needs to be competitive.
Yes.
So and this organization has the system for people to learn the DNA of the organization. You learn a lot, I know, and you talk about learning. But my viewpoint is organizational learning is another level of learning. It's a system that organization put for people to share.
My question is, when let's put it simple. Theera get into ExxonMobil from day one as an engineer. Do you need to learn about that system surrounding you, how much you get paid, why you have to be, what boss you report to, what's this policy you cannot and cannot do? And then at different level, do you need to learn about
This
that
is
one?
the normal way people need to do in organization without any organizational learning concept. What
do you
he
think?
is doing.
Let's say what he's saying.
When you come
It
in,
becomes so complicated.
yeah,
And, we
I
need to
think
make it simple here.
To make it simple,
Yeah.
I mean, different people probably have different want and need, right? I mean, some people want the career, some people
Yeah.
doesn't care.
Yes.
Okay, to be
Yes.
honest, right?
I just come for some money.
Yeah, just come for money or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, if I don't feel comfortable, I left,
Yeah.
right? And that's the way it is.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, like, I mean, if you ask me, everyone know. For example, everyone know how to be fit and firm, healthy. You eat. I mean, everyone know, right? I mean, you need to eat healthy food.
Yes.
Exercise regularly, sleep well. Everyone know, but not everyone do.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, for whatever reason.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
it's the same. I mean,
Yes.
in every organization.
But maybe
I
I
think-
can put it, if learning is different from what people know, learning from knowing is actually when you learn, you know why you could not do this and you can do it. So you know what, meaning that you know that you come into this job and you do the job. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's how you know.
Very good at individual level.
At the individual level. I come in,
What
I
she
do my
said,
job,
yeah,
I do my
right.
job.
I know
Okay.
everything. I adapt myself.
Yeah,
This is
and
individual.
individually.
The
yeah.
individual cannot do anything without the system and policy around them. With the people you
I mean,
interact every day.
At the beginning, I learn as that, but
By doing.
By doing.
Even
on the
people
job- on the job training
don't
or
write
whatever.
down, right?
Even if
they
you don't
are
write
doing
down,
something
I will figure out
unwritten rules
to get
there.
this thing done. I need to talk to this person.
Oh yes.
So
Yeah.
when you talk to that person to know, you not only learn individually yourself, you actually learn from that person
Yeah.
and learn from them what they need to do. Same with different levels, step by step. You go into ladder. You learn why your boss telling to do that. You learn why he want it and why the organization and the team want it. So every single step, again, you cannot learn yourself. You cannot Robinson in the whole separate island. You interacting, and that relationship is involving learning. To put it like that.
You are putting the concept of organizational learning as a team learning, as interaction. If individuals are interacting to each other, give the feedback, you have the feedback loop. This is organizational learning, but my viewpoint is not that. Organization want to be different from others. For example, safety control, right? But for so many years and people, right? Come in, go out, they keep the same way of doing because they have the same platform that people are sharing this information,
Yes.
understand this and do it and keep people to do it in the same way.
But
Okay?
people here, many individuals combined.
Yeah, but organization in the center. Organization is here. The system of learning is here, and every individual come in. They do something as they do without any system. But then, when the system of organization require and support them to change together.
But I thought the day they get into that company, sign even probation, they already have to follow with rule and regulation.
Yes.
That they already there. They cannot do by themselves. They
I
cannot
talk about
do-
the learning platform because we are talking about learning, organizational learning.
I
What
think-
you are saying is about individual learning about organization, but not the organization learning to be better than competitors and sustain in the industry.
I think they have to go up to the level, then the learning curve go, then they could be able to know that. At that point, it's different level. How they can know that? The learning is encouraging everybody learning. That's the mentioned platform I'm saying.
You are right. You are right.
If you try to separate it, it's
everyone
quite
is
hard
learning.
for people to understand.
Okay, I think we stop here because because of the difference of.
We might come back to this, or
Yes.
we putting in there at some point. But I really hope that after this conversation, when people watch it and people start listening to this, it's gonna see your picture of your individual person climbing up different ladders
But I
in
would
the
say,
company.
I mean, I understand what she's trying to convey. I mean, even now, I'm left the company 12 years, okay? Start my own. The new guy come in ExxonMobil, they're gonna have the same thing that
For
I just
19
say
years.
you.
Yes.
Okay, because it was there. Doesn't matter.
The
It's-
platform
yeah, the
that
platform,
keep
it
people
keep
in the
people.
same.
Yes, that's what she's saying, that no matter new people come in, new guy just graduate, they gotta learn in the structure to learn that ethical, safety and control.
So we
So
talk,
when they walk
I think
out,
we just
yeah.
keep talking about
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about what a perfect organizational, learning organization the ExxonMobil have, or is the expectation of any learning organization, anybody looking forward about. What we discuss here, for example, in Vietnam, where the term is not there yet, and not many companies can actually do it, then we have to look in the reality where people stand for and how different angle looking into it. Then we expect
Yes.
people to know, oh, then I start to want to learn about organizational learning. Otherwise, it's too hard.
Why I'm putting this concept organizational learning as a platform for
Yeah.
getting people into the system.
Yeah.
This has happened to my
Yes.
organization. OCD is the only consulting company that keep the full-time consultants. Others just keeping the freelancing as
Yes.
partner of themselves. Yeah, they have we are always boutique company.
Yes.
But in OCD, we have the big size, the consultants,
Yes.
and they are coming in and out.
Yeah.
A lot of people are staying with us 5 years, 10 years.
Yes.
But not always.
Yes.
A lot of people coming for 2 years, 3 years, stating that I want to learn from here and I
Exactly.
will go further.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can see many people that interact with you has been already, OCD consultant for 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And how we keep the OCD the same way, the same face, that we are working for the quality, we're working for the technology adaptations and so on. Because the organizational learning platform is here.
I'm
because
so happy you
I
put that up.
myself
Yes.
cannot be the only teacher for all of my consultants, right? Organization, teach
Yes.
them.
That's all I want you to mention, because with OCD or ExxonMobil is how people start to learn what is learning organization means, starting to watch this video and they realize, okay, maybe I want to think about it and then I want to learn about it and maybe I want to apply about it. So let's think of people who actually benefit from this program first. And many of them not yet knowing all this, and then maybe take 19 years to where you are, take 20 years to get where you are. Let's put it like that. Can we?
Yes.
So that's why I think we already where we are. We already agree that let's make every single organization, let's hope and make effort, every one of us, to make us learning organization.
Okay.
Right? Everyone in that learning organization gonna be learning individual, learning team, or learning whatever, but as an organization who can achieve different goal of going. And with ExxonMobil example, with OCD, I think it's a perfect set. We have, I think, 2 hours of discussing all the important terms, but people gonna remember the most your story. That's first. And whoever want to dig into this more, we're gonna have more to come in, and I would love you continue support us in this journey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you very much.
Sure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
So
And
nice to hear from
Yeah.
from you. So interesting, illustrations of career management. Because my friend from BP, she was 17 years in BP, developing herself from a very junior to a president of Asia BP.
So when we
Thank
going
you.
to build, if it later on we have, you would build community of learning organization, you gonna be invited to be the, honor guest. And if you think about that in bigger picture, then and it's gonna be the way we start.
All right.
Okay? Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
You're